Hello out there, everybody. Welcome back to the channel on this Wednesday after Christmas. It's a beautiful Wednesday. I hope you guys and your families all had happy and healthy holidays. Christmas, I hope it was amazing for you. If you guys celebrate Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever, happy holidays to all of you guys as well. We are here today to talk about the results of Week 16, what that means for my record so far this season. And then we got some news to break down for today because there has been a lot going on in the football world today. So let's just get into it. We're going to go through these really quick. We've been trying to speed these ones up a little bit, not be as ESPN journalism about it. So let's go ahead and talk about them. Saints at Rams was the Thursday night ordeal. I called the Rams in that one to go 1-0. The Rams do win it. Bengals at Steelers and the Saturday mid-slot. I said the Bengals. I thought the Steelers were going to have a much tougher time than they did, but George Pickens shows up this week and gives the Steelers the win that takes me to 1-1. Bills at Chargers Saturday night game. I said the Bills over the Chargers as the Chargers seemed to be just beat up and broke down. The Chargers did show up and have a better game, but the Bills still held them out. 2-1 for me. Colts at Falcons. I said the Colts, the Falcons pull out the win. It takes me to 2-2. Packers at Panthers. Well, the Packers let the Panthers put up more points than they have on a single team all year, and the penalties seem to be a little questionable at times. The Packers still hold on to their playoff hopes and beat the Panthers to go 3-2. That's right, Adam Thielen. Keep on a-crying. On to Seahawks at Titans. I said Seahawks over Titans. The Seahawks do pull it out to take me to 4-2. Lions at Vikings. I said the Lions as Motor City Dan Campbell is rolling, and that brand new Vikings team just seems to have it in the bag. They do win, and they do claim the title of the NFC North this year. They are the kings of the North. Commanders at Jets. I said Jets mostly just on defensive prowess, and while their defense did let the Commanders come back into this game, the Jets do hold them off 30-28 to take me to 6-2. Browns at Texans. I said Browns over Texans. I thought if C.J. Stroud played, maybe the Texans would have a chance, but Stroud did not play, and the Browns and Joe Flacco continue to roll, taking me to 7-2. Jags over Bucks. I thought that Trevor Lawrence's squad would shut down the momentum of Baker Mayfield and the Dirty Pirates of Florida. That is not the case, as the Jags fall to the Bucks, taking me to 7-3. Cardinals at Bears. I said the Bears, this was going to be a battle of nonsense for the most part, and the Bears do pull it out, and that takes me to 8-3. Cowboys at Dolphins. I thought them boys were going to roll in there and show that they actually can play really good against the playoff caliber squads. I was wrong, as the Dolphins show up and blow them out, taking me to 8-4. Patriots at Broncos. I thought the Broncos were going to pick back up where they left off and roll through this beat-up New England squad. That is not the case, as the Patriots kick a game-winning field goal to seal it out Sunday night in Denver, taking me to 8-5. The Christmas Day games. The morning game, Raiders at Chiefs. I said the Chiefs because, why wouldn't you? And the Raiders show up, show out, and shut down the Kansas City Chiefs, taking me to 8-6. Giants at Eagles. I called the Eagles over the Giants. The Giants made a quarterback change at halftime, going from Tommy DeVito to Tyrod Taylor, showing a little bit more life, but it just wasn't enough. Too little, too late, and the Eagles hold off the Giants, eliminating the Giants from the playoffs and taking me to 9-6 in the afternoon slot. The night game, I thought this was going to be a Super Bowl preview and an absolute barn burner. I called the 49ers, but it turned out to be exceedingly one-sided in the Ravens' favor, as the Ravens just rolled through San Francisco. If this is a Super Bowl matchup, look for that title to be going back to Baltimore, but hopefully we see a whole different setup as we go into the playoffs. That will take me to 9-7 on the week. And 84-63 on the season. So still in the green for this season so far. Loving the progress here, and honestly, like, now we'll start to see weird teams do weird things, and that is what we're here to chat about next. All right, into the news of the day. As a Packers fan, this one kind of hits home and kind of sucks, but Jair Alexander has been suspended for one game for the situation with the coin toss versus the Panthers last week. He claimed that because he was from North Carolina that he should be able to be a part of the coin toss as a captain. He was not named a captain and still went out for the toss anyway. And in doing so, not only did he go out for the toss when he wasn't supposed to, but he called the toss and won the toss, and then almost screwed us over by however he was going to select would have essentially made us kick twice. And I don't even know how you do that. But we would have had to have kicked to open the game and to kick coming out of halftime. He almost screwed us over. Luckily, the ref asked him if he wanted to defer because he was also confused. And Jai just said, yeah, I guess. He had no idea what he was doing, and he still put himself out there anyway. So the Packers have suspended him one game for his situation and the detriment to the team that he posed. That kind of sucks as the Packers play the Vikings in the Sunday night game on New Year's Eve in a win or go home situation. And you don't want to have to be down, good roster members during that time. Jai has missed a lot of time, though, and now that he is back and when he is playing, it has looked rather inconsistent. So most people could say that this could be a detriment, but who knows? Maybe it actually helps us out in the long run. On to the next piece of news. Tommy DeVito, the quarterback of the New York Giants, has been benched for Tyrod Taylor to start this upcoming Sunday. This shouldn't be very surprising to anybody, especially Giants fans, as DeVito was benched going into the half on Christmas Day. I think he only had 46 yards in the first half passing. And Tyrod came out looking really good, brought them back into the game, gave him a shot. And Tyrod Taylor is going to be the Giants quarterback, at least for this next week, and possibly going forward. Sam Howell has been benched in Washington as well. Jacoby Brissett will be starting this upcoming week. Sam Howell has put up a lot of good numbers this year, but they're just not winning games, and I think they're trying to get an offensive reset and possibly see what they have to work with as they head into the offseason and try to get ready for next season. And then that will get us to the biggest piece of news, the one that has to be talked about because it will be huge in the city at which I live and around the league. People will be talking about the detriment of finance in the game for years and years to come based on this specific situation. Russell Wilson has been benched this week for Jared Stidham. It has been announced that Russ will not start for the remainder of the season and will act as a backup to Stidham. This sets up the possibility for Russ to depart from Denver in the offseason, which sounds absolutely ridiculous once you start getting into the stats that I'm going to give you right now. Mind you, as I've been doing all episode, the pictures that are going up are all by reliable sports journalists and such, people, insiders that post about the ongoings within the league. So as you can see, I have things like Adam Schefter is posting and such. So trying to have reliable sources for this data and this information, and I feel confident that they are not lying about the massiveness of this specific situation. So let's talk about it. Russell Wilson has currently $39 million guaranteed in 2024. There is a potential for an additional $37 million if he cannot pass a physical by early March. Okay, so if he gets injured in these last two games and he can't pass a game physical going into March, he would get that $37 million injury guarantee that has been built into his contract. On top of that, if he were to be released before March 17th of 2024, the Denver Broncos would have $85 million in dead cap space for 2024. If he's let go past June 1st, they would have $35.4 million in dead cap for 24 and $49.6 million in dead cap space for 25. It's a ton of money, just kind of poof, on the thought process that Russ could possibly not be the quarterback for the Denver Broncos for the 2024-2025 season. Let's just remind you guys of how we got here to begin with. Russ was part of a giant trade so that we could bring him in and essentially ship out, we shipped out Drew Lock and Noah Fant, and we getting rid of some dead weight, in our opinion. Noah Fant and Drew Lock have obviously turned out to be absolute dogs up in Seattle. But the Broncos traded 3 players, 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, and 1 fifth-round pick for Russell Wilson. Russ still had, at the time, $51 million remaining on his then contract for 2022 and 2023. By extending him immediately, which Denver thought was absolutely insane, at least the fan base that I keep in contact with thought that it was absolutely insane to extend this guy before he ever played a game for us. No preseason, nothing. He never touched a ball, and he got an extension. So by immediately extending him, Denver has now paid / owes Russell Wilson $124 million, including his 2024 guarantees. Mind you, right now he's sitting like 6th overall in passer rating, so he's cleaned it up throughout the season for sure. But when you're talking about dollars and cents, that's a lot of money to toss out the door. However, the Broncos' new ownership is the Waltons, who own Walmart and Sam's Club and Pep Boys, all of those. And I'm sure that they have the capital, and when you're dumping a lot of money into something like a massive sports team, I'm sure that you want to see that sports team win games. Right? That would be my assumption. But I've been wrong before. So, I also have never run a sports team before. So, with all that being said, the Broncos are in a little bit of a sticky situation. Do you cut him and try to look for the quarterback of the future for the Denver Broncos? Whether it's going to the draft, whether it's hoping for a free agent miracle like Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco left Denver and sat at home on the couch for a little while. I think he did a stint as a backup for the Jets too, but then sat at home on the couch for a little while, taking the kids to school, and now he's dropping dimes in Cleveland and could possibly take them onto a playoff run. So, maybe they're going to try to do that. Maybe they're going to try to go to the free agency. Maybe they're going to try to draft. But either way, getting rid of Russ would be a massive setback cap-wise for the Denver Broncos. They will pay for it for years and years to come. Something that I said when the trade went through all that time ago, and it should not have been the case to begin with. Denver really likes to do this thing where they take quarterbacks that seem like they're washed, these veteran quarterbacks, and hope that they get one last really good push out of them for a Super Bowl. I call it the Peyton Manning experience, where Peyton was essentially run out of Indianapolis because he's injury prone and he was just beat up and tired and didn't look like himself. And Indianapolis wanted to move forward with Andrew Luck. We pick up Peyton Manning here in Denver. He has a kind of a rough season, but he's on the way, and they get a little playoff berth out of it. And the next year, they get a Super Bowl. And it's the Peyton Manning experience has held tried and true ever since, as Joe Flacco came in as a Super Bowl MVP, and he flopped miserably. And now we have Russ, a Super Bowl MVP and a Super Bowl champion, and he has flopped miserably when it comes to getting us into the postseason and to wins. So Denver is definitely struggling to decide what they want to do with their $240 million quarterback that they spent all this time and effort in getting, and I think it is best for them to move on. Real quick, let's talk the playoff picture for the NFL, and then we will wrap it up for today. Tomorrow we will be back for Predictions Thursday going into Week 17 of the NFL season. But let's talk playoffs at this point. On the AFC side of the ball, the Baltimore Ravens have clinched the number 1 spot. The Miami Dolphins have clinched in the number 2 spot. Still sitting in the hunt, they have not yet clinched, are the number 3 Kansas City Chiefs, the number 4 Jacksonville Jaguars, the number 5 Cleveland Browns, the number 6 Buffalo Bills, and number 7 Indianapolis Colts. On the bubble, still with a possibility of making the playoffs, but boy oh boy, it gets tougher with every passing minute. We have the number 8 Houston Texans, the number 9 Cincinnati Bengals, the number 10 Pittsburgh Steelers, the number 11 Las Vegas Raiders, and the number 12 Denver Broncos. All have yet to be eliminated and still have some sort of path that they could get into the playoffs, no matter how slim. Eliminated on the AFC side are the New England Patriots, the LA Chargers, the Tennessee Titans, and the New York Jets. On to the NFC side of the ball, where a lot more things are solidified than on the other side. The number 1 seed, 49ers, clinched. Number 2, the Eagles, clinched. Number 3, the Detroit Football Lions, clinched. For the first time in like 30 years, they are the Kings of the North, with Aaron Rodgers nursing an Achilles injury off in New York, and the Packers left to try to figure it out. Number 5, clinched, the Dallas Cowboys. Still in the hunt, not yet clinched, are the 4 Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the 6 LA Rams, and the 7 Seattle Seahawks. On the bubble, with still possibility of getting in no matter how narrow the path, the number 8 Minnesota Vikings, the number 9 Green Bay Packers. That will be decided for the most part this Sunday night in a win-or-go-home situation for Green Bay. The number 10 New Orleans Saints, number 11 Atlanta Falcons, and number 12 Chicago Bears. All of those teams have some path, no matter how narrow, no matter how slim, no matter how bumpy or rocky, they all have some sort of path to get to the postseason. Eliminated from the NFC are the Carolina Panthers, the Arizona Cardinals, the Washington Commanders, and the New York Football Giants. So, that is the breakdown from Week 16, where we figured out who won, who lost, and what that meant for my overall record. We then went over the news for this week. Jair Alexander being suspended, Tommy DeVito being benched, Sam Howell being benched, and Big Russ Wilson being benched, and the contract implications that Denver will deal with as a fallout to that. We then went over the playoff bracket as it sits this Wednesday as we enter into Week 17 starting tomorrow. Join me again here tomorrow for my predictions video on Week 17 as I will give my predictions and we will set up to try to see if we can extend this board positively into next week. Also, keep your ears out as we get closer and closer and closer. More news will drop about this Royal Rumble Live happening January 27th. The pay-per-view airs at, pre-show starts at 5. The main card starts at 6 on that Saturday, the 27th. And I will probably be hosting a live right here on YouTube, possibly on Twitch, possibly on Facebook as well. We're going to try a whole bunch of things to see what we can get set up. I might have some co-hosts. We're still working on that, but we are going to get a live in for that one way or another. My pre-show starting at 5:30 most likely, and the main card starting at 6. Thank you guys so very much for tuning into this week in football news. And remember to do more than simply exist. And come with me into the uncharted. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.